Hey, Kevin here. Today I want to show you some flips and finds from the last week, maybe a little longer than a week. I wrote everything down here on the board, which you may not be able to read. The two lines here are everything I sold on eBay, and then the local flips here, there's just two things are listed over here. So also, I just kind of thought of this video idea this morning, but when I do this from now on, I'll try to show everything in person as it sells. But since most of them are already sold, shipped off, I'll just show pictures of them. But I'll start with the items that I actually still have on hand. These are things that sold last night. So first thing here is a Levi's denim shirt. It's like from the 90s, so it's a little bit vintage. And what was interesting about this one is that it's dyed teal blue. I don't know if someone did this themselves or if it come this way, because like the tags and all that are kind of dyed blue. But I thought this was really cool. It's unusual, and I've done really well with Levi's branded shirts. I found this at Goodwill. It was $3.50. It's in the men's section, but it turns out to be a women's shirt. I was really excited when I first found it. It was when I very first started, and I wasn't looking at shirts as well as I should, and I overlooked a huge error, and that is that it has these metal Levi's buttons, but the top one right here is missing. I didn't know that when I first grabbed it. So since it's a women's shirt, I brought it home. I asked my wife. I come home, realized it was missing. Then I asked my wife, would a lady still wear this? And she said, yeah, even with the missing button, she thought so. So I went ahead and listed it. I think I put it up for $23.95, $24.95, just to kind of see what happens. I put a best offer on there, and I've had it up for probably two and a half months, and it finally sold last night. Someone offered me 15 bucks. I decided not even to counter offer, just take it, be done with it, and send it off, and I'll make a little bit of money on there. So that was the denim shirt, 15 bucks. All right. Something else that sold last night for 15 bucks is this calculator right here. All right, so this is a Texas Instruments BA2 Plus. This is a like a business calculator, a financial analyst or something like that. Anyway, this was not a great buy. I paid $3 for it. It sold for $15. It'll be about $3 to ship after fees and all that. I'll end up making $5, something like that. Not real great. Calculators can be good though. If you have graphing calculators, especially these financial ones, whatever. I mean, they're easy to ship if you just need to make a few bucks, but I probably won't be buying these more. I've actually passed on a few since then. But like a TI-83, TI-84, you're talking $40, $50, $60, $70 on those. And they're still only going to be a few bucks when you buy them. This was not that great of a buy. Okay, something else that sold last night. This was one of the very first things I bought, probably like the second or third yard sale I ever went to start reselling. I found these. These are Brahma work boots. They're not steel-toed. It's not the greatest brand. These are probably, I think they probably come from Walmart, so it's not going to be like, you know, these awesome boots that everyone's looking for. But they were in pretty good shape. They are stained. I think they had like dirt or concrete on them, but I cleaned them when I first bought them. They're still not that clean though. And anyway, the reason I bought these, and it's kind of a weird size, it's men's 7.5, which is really small. It's going to be like a youth size really. But they were 50 cents. And I couldn't pass on them for 50 cents. And I tried selling them locally. No one wanted them even for $5. Nothing ever happened. So the other day I was like, let's put them on eBay, see what happens. They're kind of dirty. It's not that good of a brand. And I listed them for, what was it, $23.95. And I got a best offer for 20 bucks. So I'm just going to take it. Once I ship them off, I'm not going to make that much money, maybe $5. It was not that good of a buy, but at least I got rid of them. All right, let me mark them off. So that was the calculator and the Brahma boots. Okay, I also sold another pair of boots last night. Again, these are probably from the second yard sale I ever went to, so we're talking 4 or 5 months ago. I had these a long time, and these are Army Belleville boots, which is a good brand. I've also sold another, well here, I got another brand here. What are these? Bates boots. These aren't quite as good. I think people like Belleville better. These are, they're not shot, but they're not in great condition. They have some staining on them, discoloring. They have the wrong colored laces in them. They have good tread though, and there's like a chunk missing. So when I first bought them, I was excited. Oh yeah, Army boots, cool, I'll go get them. And they were $3, brought them home, and then I had buyer's remorse. I was like, I shouldn't have bought them. I don't think I should put them on eBay. So I tried selling them locally for several months for like 10 bucks. I had no buyers whatsoever. No one was interested. So a couple days ago, same thing. Same time I listed those other boots, I was like, I'll just put them on eBay, see what happens. And I listed them for $35.95, and I put them up that night. That next morning, they sold. So lesson learned that I should just go ahead and list things that people actually want. All right, so $35.95. Now, like I said, they're not in great condition, wrong laces. If they're in better condition, they'd have gone for a lot more money. Mark that one off. That was the Army Belleville boots. Another sale from last night. I picked this up this week for $1 at Salvation Army. If you're an 80s kid like me, you might remember the animal. I think it was a cartoon. I just remember the toy though. And this is the truck. They also had kind of a Camaro looking car that was also a monster truck and some other things. I remember playing with this one and it sure seemed like it was bigger when I was a kid. But anyway, this thing's pretty cool. If you don't remember, you put batteries in there and you turn it on and it starts rolling. And what happens when it rolls, see if I can get it, the claws come out. Can you see that? So it's pretty cool. It comes out on all the wheels so that way you can like climb over, you know, mountains or whatever. And anyway, I brought this home, I tested it out, and to my surprise, the thing works perfect. All right, put batteries in there, you turn it on, it starts rolling, the headlights turn on, the little driving lights up here turn on, and this thing is really clean. And I was just excited when I found it, so I, oh, here we go, I didn't know that these push in, I'm not sure what that does. But anyway, so I was really excited when I found it, just, you know, kind of a blast from the past. And I looked them up, and the ones that sold had gone for like $15, $20, $23. There's a few sales, so I was a little bit disappointed. But I was like, whatever. I only paid $1. I'll go ahead and list it. And anyway, the other day I listed. I'll explain it here in a minute. A VHS I found that's pretty rare apparently, and I underpriced it, and it sold immediately in a few minutes. So when I listed this, I thought, you know what? Let me do a little more research. So I looked them up, and all the ones that had sold were actually in pretty rough shape, and they didn't work. And there was a really nice one still in the box. Someone had listed it for 90 bucks. I thought, okay, we'll see what happens. I'll just go crazy, shoot for the moon. I'm gonna list this for $84.95 just to see what happens, all right? And it started getting some people checking it out. And then that next morning, it sold for 65 bucks. I got a best offer for 65 bucks. I went ahead and took it. I'll pay for shipping. So that is a really good return. I was only expecting it to sell for like 25, and I was going to pay for shipping and maybe make 10 bucks on it or whatever. But now I'm going to make really good money on it. So this turned out to be a really awesome find. All right, so as soon as I got done shooting that little segment of video, my phone went off with the little eBay cha-ching sound. And anyway, I saw that I sold this little handheld Yahtzee game. All right, so 1995, it still works. Pretty cool little game. This is the clear body. It's kind of see-through if you can see it up close. They also made them in black and gold, at least the ones I've seen. I've had several of them, I've sold them all, and they sell pretty well. Anyway, I got it at a yard sale, paid $1, and it just sold for $16.95. I'll pay for shipping. I'll put a little bit of bubble wrap around it, put it in a bubble mailer, about the size of one that you'd fit like a DVD, and then ship it off anywhere. Usually it's about $2.77 on these because they're so small. So I'm about $4 all in, so I'll make about $12. Then you take away some of the eBay and PayPal fees and all that. I'll probably end up making right around $10 for it. So it's pretty good. I usually like to make a little more money than that on the items I sell, but since this is so small, easy to ship, it doesn't take a lot of photos. I mean, the front, back, make sure it works. So that's kind of all you have to show. So these are pretty easy to sell. So I'll go ahead and make 10 bucks on these all day long. And anyway, this is the Yahtzee. I've sold several of these, but what does even better is handheld solitaire games. Those things sell really fast. I actually held on to this probably about 2 months before it sold. All the others sold pretty quick. But man, the solitaire games go really fast, and they go for even more money. One of them I had, it was white. It was a little bit bigger. It was a lot chunkier. I paid 50 cents for it at a yard sale, and it sold for over $42. So some of these are worth some pretty good money. So if you ever find these at yard sales really cheap and it works, I'd recommend probably grabbing it because these things will sell really nice. Okay, so as far as things go that have already sold and have been shipped off, I'll try to go through these a little quicker so that you're not bored just staring at pictures. But the first one I'll explain is that VHS tape I was just talking about. It was a VHS tape I found at the Salvation Army. It was only 25 cents. It was called Zombie vs. Ninja, which immediately was like, okay, this is kind of cool. And it had this like really weird reflective cover, but it was in bad shape. It, like the bottom of it was all flaky and everything. So I did a quick search on eBay, and I saw that some of them had sold for like 15 to 20 bucks. So for a quarter, I thought that'd be a good flip because you can ship it off as media mail. It's really cheap. I think it was $2.61 to ship off. Anyway, I listed it for $24.95, and within 15 minutes, I got an offer for $20. Before I could even reply to that, I mean, we're talking within seconds, someone then bought it for $24.95. So that tells me I had it way underpriced. And when I did further research, apparently the Reflective color is, I guess, a little more rare. And I like the combination of this like really fancy cover and then a really bare bones label on the actual cassette tape. And someone had one listed for 90 bucks. So I'm thinking I probably should have went way higher on the price. So that's kind of why I went higher on that little monster truck and got it. So that was the VHS I found. So as odd as that is, a really rare, kind of unusual VHS tapes that probably are not on DVD will still do really well. Okay, another one I just sold and shipped off yesterday was this medical belt. It's like a gait belt. It's for like picking people off of the bed or whatever. I found it at Goodwill. It was $2, I think. And I listed it for $29.95. And it sold for $26.50, and that's going to Puerto Rico. So that was a pretty good find. And the shipping was really cheap. Puerto Rico is still considered US, so that thing, it was only like $7 a ship, which I was surprised. Okay, another thing, this one was really cool. This was a disco shirt. I mentioned in the last video that I had found some disco shirts and none of them sold. I finally sold one. This one was, what was it called? Saturdays in California brand or something like that. But it had peanuts on there, like the, Snoopy peanuts. Those characters, it had some of them on there. Really ugly kind of beige color with orange and brown. And like it was, who was it? Lucy and the... what other kid was it? I don't think so. It's either the one that, yes, the one that plays piano. So that's, I don't think that's Linus. But anyway, it's those two characters. Unusual shirt, really weird collars. It had some fraying on the bottom, but it didn't matter. It sold for $42.95. Okay, also in the last video, I showed the Luke Skywalker collectible lightsaber I found. It's a really nice one. It's not the little toy version that kids get. This is one that adults buy to collect or whatever. And I looked them up, and I thought that because of its condition, if it was in good shape, it might go for like $145, $150. But because it was missing a part, I thought I'd get about $120. So I looked them up, and I thought, you know what, I'll just go shoot for the moon. So I asked $185 on it. I got a best offer for $160, and I shipped it off the other day. So that was pretty cool. I spent like an hour building a box for that thing too. That was pretty tough to box up. Okay, another thing in the last video, I showed a Xbox 360 Guitar Hero guitar. It was a white one. It had stickers all over it. I cleaned off all those stickers. I tested it by hand. I didn't actually have an Xbox to test it, which is not the correct way to do it, but I just did what I did. And I paid $5 for it. I listed it for $44.95, and the next day it sold. So those are really good sellers, I should say. All right, another one that when I first bought it, I thought it was something different than it was. It was a Desert Eagle gun holster. But when I asked the lady, is this a real gun holster? Because I saw Desert Eagle, I was like, wow, okay, that's pretty cool. She said, yeah, my son bought it. And I was thinking, okay, whatever, maybe he just thought it was cool. It was it was $3. I said, would you take one? She said, okay. And then when I did research on it, it turns out it's for an airsoft gun. And I had a couple offers on it before, and then eventually someone bought it for full price at $9.95. So that was not that good. I thought it was for a real Desert Eagle gun. It's going to go for a lot more money, but it wasn't. Okay, another thing. Usually ink is really good, but this ended up being a bad buy. It's HP 9A. I don't know, big giant thing of ink. I don't know what it's for or anything. It was kind of old, but it was $5. And usually ink is good, but usually if it's going for like $50, $60, $70. This one only went for, I think I listed it for $29.95, and someone offered me, no, I take it back. I listed it for $34.95, and someone offered me $27. I took it. I've had this for a long time. Turns out the person that bought it is had me drop ship it, so they're going to make money off of me. They're shipping it to someone else. And it was a whole fiasco. I was supposed to send it to Delaware, so I printed the label, bought postage. Then they contacted me and said, oh wait, I made a mistake, it's supposed to go to Arizona. So then I had to figure out, because I'm new to all this, I had to figure out how to cancel the order and all that. And it was a whole ordeal. It was like $16 to ship. I paid $5 after fees. I'm barely going to make more than break even. So that was a bad buy, or at least a bad deal. All right, another one was a bad purchase when I first started. It was a St. Louis Cardinals warm-up jersey, rain jackety type thing, short sleeve. It's like nylon on top, and then the bottom is kind of like jersey material. And I paid $3.50 for it at the Goodwill, and I had it listed. It wasn't worth that much. I had it listed for maybe $13.95, something like that, and I dropped the price to $8.95 to get rid of it, and it finally sold. and that shipped off to Ohio, I think. So paid $3.50. It was like $3.50 to ship, or a little less. But anyway, I made like maybe $1 on it. So that was a really bad buy. Okay, another one. This was pretty cool. I found these at Goodwill a few weeks back, and they are Dan Post boots, but they had ostrich leather on the bottom. They had them priced at 20 bucks, which is probably the most expensive pair of boots I've bought so far. But when I looked up the ostrich boots, they were going for really good money. These weren't quite as nice as some of them. So, you know, really nice ones were going for like 140, 150. I listed mine at 100 bucks, and they sold in about 2 days. So that was a pretty good buy. All right, and then also the last eBay sale, or actually it was the first one that happened earlier this week, and I mentioned it in the last video. It was the Weight Watchers calculator, a little tiny thing about the size of a travel alarm clock. I bought it for $1 at Goodwill, and I just sold it for $12.95 and shipped it off. It was about $3 to ship, so that was okay, whatever. One of my rules, I'll go ahead and explain here, is I've learned that it's not worth your time to mess with items that don't make that much money. So like that calculator, that Weight Watchers calculator, even though it sold for $13 and I only paid $1, after shipping, I still only ended up, and after fees, I probably made like maybe $6 or $7, and it's not really worth it. I mean, I guess on that one's okay. It did take time to take pictures. It's easy to ship, but for the most part, I try to sell things that after fees is going to make me at least 15 bucks. I probably should even raise that because some of these things are not going as well. Like the ink I explained, I thought I was going to make at least 15, 20 bucks, and I'm barely going to make hardly any money on it. So I got to really watch that. So now let me explain some of the local flips. Okay, so now let me show you some of the local flips. It is the middle of winter. We've had threats of ice and snow lately, so it's been a lot slower locally. Plus, I don't have that many things listed. I've been going a lot heavier on the eBay stuff that I can just ship out. But anyway, these are the sales. So yesterday, I sold a Schwinn bike for 55 bucks. I picked it up a few months ago at the local Habitat for Humanity Restore thrift shop for 15 bucks. I actually bought a couple bikes that day for $15 each. And anyway, when I first listed it, I was like, hey, this is an old Schwinn. It's not in the greatest shape, but it's old enough that it is worth money. And I looked them up on eBay, and some of them are going for pretty good money, but I've never shipped a bike, so I thought I'd just do it locally. Anyway, I paid $15. I listed it for $115 locally, and there was actually a guy interested, but the deal, he kind of flaked out on it and decided not to get it. So I had it a little longer. I dropped it to $95, then I dropped it to $85, and then the other day I was like, I'm just gonna get rid of this thing, and I listed it for, or dropped it down again to 55 bucks, and this guy decided to buy it. Of course, he showed up right when the temperature got really bad again, and this really terrible wind and ice storm was gonna show up, and I sold it to him yesterday at the gas station. Anyway, he pulled up, and I was pulling it out of the van, and he kind of scared me. He just showed up and was like, hey, and I was like, oh. And first thing he did, he was like, I saw you've listed a lot of things locally. He said, do you have a job? And I was like, okay, that's kind of unusual. And I was like, well, you know, I redo furniture and I sell things on eBay. And I don't normally tell people this, but I kind of felt like to get him off my back, I was like, and that bike he just bought, I bought it really cheap. I just sold it to you. So then he was like, you know, he kind of backed off after that. And he's like, okay, whatever. So anyway, sold that, so I made, what, 40 bucks on it, so that's not bad. I did absolutely nothing to it except bring it home, and I think I put air in the tires. Okay, the other sale, local sale, was a mid-century modern dresser. It was an old Hooker mainline dresser. Pretty good brand. Apparently they were really nice back in the day. This thing was super heavy. I got it also at the Habitat for Humanity Restore thrift shop. It was $48, which was unbelievable. Their prices there are always way too high. They have junk that is like Walmart dressers, you know, that are particle board, and they're still trying to sell them for like 65 bucks. I mean, their stuff is just way overpriced. But this thing was in such rough shape, at least the finish was, that they had it for 48 bucks. I picked it up. I had to sand the whole thing down. It was a lot of work. I did a video on it on my DIY Dork channel, and tons of work into that thing. We had every intention of keeping it, but once we got done, we're like, this thing's really heavy. I had just bought another dresser that we actually liked better, that was going to be a little more functional for what we needed. So I decided to go ahead and sell it. I had it for a few months before I made that decision though, so I listed it for $225, and the next day it sold, so it went really quick. And the lady that bought it absolutely loved it. She said, I had every intention of asking for a better deal, but as soon as I saw it, I had to pay full price. And her husband looked at her and was like, are you crazy? You should have asked for less money. I was like, yeah, I probably would have taken a little less, but hey, $225 works. So anyway, I sold that. That's a really good price around here locally for furniture. When I redo furniture, it takes a long time, and they just aren't going for very good money anymore. And $225, that is like top end. I have not really sold too many pieces that have made that kind of money before. So that's why I've been moving on to a lot of the eBay things. It's a lot quicker. There's less work involved. You get your money back faster. And I mean, instead of wasting, you know, 4 days redoing a dresser to maybe make $175, I can make way more than that in less than a week. So off of just this stuff, and I'm just getting started. Plus it's winter time. Once the garage sale season comes back up, I mean, I'm going to really ramp this up. That doesn't mean I'm completely giving up furniture. It's just the makeovers are not quite worth it anymore. I will still find good furniture that can be flipped as is, or even just so-so stuff that's just so cheap that it's worth flipping cheap. I've done a lot of that where I get pieces for like $5 and some for like 15. It's not a lot of money, but it goes relatively quick for the money. And all you have to do is bring them home, maybe dust them. That's it. So I got another video. I don't know if I'll put it on this channel or on DIY Dork, but I found this dresser set at a yard sale for $150, and I flipped it for, I think, eventually $325. I had separated it slightly, so I more than doubled my money, and I did no work to it except clean it up. So I'm gonna try to find more deals like that. But anyway, that was my local sales. Let me show you some finds real quick. I'll try to do them a little quicker so that this video isn't just crazy long. Okay, a couple other local flips here that I should mention. This stroller right here, I showed in the last video. I paid $35 for it, I think the day before Christmas or Christmas Eve. And anyway, it was $35 at Goodwill. This is a really nice stroller. The ones I found on eBay were going for almost $400. They were like $350, $375. Brand new, they're like $600-700. It's a really nice brand. It's built really nice. Anyway, I paid hardly anything for it. I listed it for $325 locally. Nothing happened, so I dropped the price to, I think, $285 or $275. And I have someone wanting to come by and check it out tomorrow, so that might go. So I'll let you know in another video if it does sell or not. Also, as I was just finished that last video segment, I heard my phone go off. I checked it. I got an email. Someone's asking about this table right here. I know you can't see it, so I'll show a picture. This was one of my DIY Dork projects. I found the table base on the side of the road for free. I built the top out of free scrap wood, put it together, turned out really cool. And I was trying to get a lot of money out of it, at least for what it is. It's kind of small. It's only like 30-inch diameter. And I was trying to get like $165, and that didn't happen. I dropped it to like $145, $125. I finally listed it the other day down at $95, and this guy is asking if I would take $75. So I'm just gonna do it and get rid of it, be done. My plan is to empty out this room. You can see I have a dresser here too. This is not one of my finds, although it would have been a good one if it was. This is just a neighbor's project. They asked me to repaint. I repainted another one for them, so I think I'll probably get $100 to redo this. All I had to do was a little bit of Bondo work on the other side, which didn't turn out super great, but it's better looking than it was. Primed it, and then they have this dark kind of brownish gray color. It's not a very good looking color, but that's what they want. So I'm gonna repaint it and then be done with it. So now let me show you some of the local finds I found this week. Okay, so these are pretty cool old stainless hubcaps. I actually found them at Salvation Army, which really surprised me. I've never found anything quite this cool there before. I mean, they're not amazing, but for our Salvation Army, it's a pretty cool find. So this is old dog dish hubcap, just fits over the center. I don't know the make and model of this one, that crown and things. It kind of makes me think maybe Buick, but I have no idea. I'm gonna assume 60, late 60s, maybe 70s, somewhere around there. This one over here is a Chevy hubcap. I don't know, same thing, 60s, 70s, maybe. And then this one right here is actually really cool. This is a Plymouth hubcap. I think this might be 1949, 50, 51. It's a pretty old one. They're all kind of beat up. You can see they have dents and scrapes and scratches. So what I'm doing, oh, I should mention price. I paid 50 cents, and then is either $1 or $1.50 and $1.50. So we'll, yeah, I think these were each $1, and that was 50 cents. So $2.50 total. And what I'm doing is just trying to sell them locally, and I'm calling them man cave art, wall art, and I just put them all together for $25. We'll see if that happens. I'll take 15, 20, 25, whatever, make a little bit of money off of them. And I could put them on eBay. Maybe they go for more money, I don't know, but I didn't want to have to ship them out and lose money that way, so we'll just try to do them locally and see what happens. Okay, next one's a really cool find. This is the nicest bike I've found so far, well, actually anywhere, but especially at Goodwill. I only paid $20 for this thing. Check it out. It's an old Specialized Cirrus, and the more I look at it, the more I'm thinking that this thing has been fixed up a little bit and is nicer than I was even originally thinking. It's in not so great a shape though. Tires are flat. I don't know if they're just blown or need air. I'll air them up first, see what happens. And also this rear brake, I think needs adjusted. It's kind of locked up. The wheel doesn't want to spin, so something's a little bit messed up. But Specialized is a really good brand, and it is vintage. You can tell by the shifters here down low instead of like up top like a newer one. And you can just tell they've kind of, the way they've done the brakes and all that this thing's been fixed up a little bit. So anyway, the more I look at it, I'm thinking it has some pretty cool parts on there. Like this here has 8 gears, and then there's 3 up here, so that make it a 24 speed. And there's just like a huge drop from that little tiny gear to the bigger one. As you can probably tell, I don't know a whole lot about bikes, but I think this is going to be a really good flip. A lot of bikes I've found, you know, you get them for 15 bucks and they sell for 35, 40, 50. Sometimes you get $100, but they've never been good. Most of them are like Walmart grade or one notch above. I think this is a lot nicer. So we'll see. I'll have to do a little more research. My quick eBay look, they were showing like 165, 175. But I don't really know on this one. I'm gonna try to do it locally instead of shipping. So we'll see what happens. But I think this is gonna be a really good find, especially for 20 bucks. All right, so my drums aren't necessarily something I found this week, but I did decide to sell them this week because I decided to buy a cocktail stand-up drum set that I'm going to fix up for a different video. And I actually have an unboxing video for them. But anyway, so my drums here, I decided to sell this week. I bought a kit that had a full-size bass drum. I turned it into a table and flipped it, made all my money back plus extra to buy parts. So I hardly have any money in this kit. I'm gonna try to sell them to basically pay for my new drum set. So I'm trying to get at least $250 out of these. I'm asking $285, I think, and we'll see what happens. I'll hold on to them until they sell, but I'd like to get pretty decent money out of them. Okay, and the last couple things I'll try to show up here real quick. First one here is this Netgear USB multifunction print server. To be honest, I have no idea what it does. I've sold a few of these on eBay, but this one I'm going to try to sell on Amazon. I just got accepted into their FBA program, and I have never sent anything in yet, but I'm learning and trying to find decent things. Anyway, I paid $14 for this at the Habitat for Humanity Restore, and the reason I bought it is because it's new sealed, even though it's kind of old. It was ranked pretty good. It was like, man, I have to look again. It seemed like it was a 51 rank, which is, I guess, pretty stinking low. All right. And it was $14. Their payout, it means after they sell it, take out fees, it was like $38 or 40 something. So then subtract the original $14 and a little bit of shipping and cost to send it to them. I mean, this is probably like $25, $30, $35 profit. So I thought that was pretty cool. Okay, I found this at Salvation Army. This is their stickers. They just put as is 350 and had a sticker down here. I got to test it out. I don't have any of the cables to plug it in, but it does accept batteries. So I got to put some in there. If it turns on and be able to type, then I will sell it. I paid $350. When I looked them up, man, I'm trying to remember. Seemed like it was in the 30 to 40 range, maybe a little more. So it's not too bad. These old electronics, as unusual and outdated as they are. Oh, I should mention this is a word processor. So this is like a really odd baby computer type thing. All right, I don't even know how old it is. But these types of things, I have some that have not sold yet, like old outdated stuff, but they do pretty well eventually. You just got to hold on to them for a while. Okay, that same day at Salvation Army, I found this. This is a Muppet Presto Fix activity set. I'll kind of show you here. It's kind of like, I don't know, almost Lego-ish, or what's those little things, those little beads that you make things and you iron them to glue together. It's kind of like that, but it's just a little kit. You can just build different Muppets. But, oops, dropped a couple. But I imagine this is pretty old, probably 70s. I haven't seen the date on here yet. But anyway, I paid 50 cents for this thing. And when I looked them up, they were all right. They were probably in the 20 to 30 range, maybe 35. So I'll make pretty decent money on this. I thought it was pretty cool. And plus it's 50 cents. It's not that big of a risk. All right, and then same day at Salvation Army, I found this. I thought this was pretty cool. Lock blocks, kind of a Lego knockoff, but this is the Magic Kingdom Castle. You can kind of tell the cover. This probably used to be bright red, and that's pink, so it's a little faded. But the problem with this, I'm going to have to go through it. It says 860 pieces, so I'm going to have to sit there and count them all and make sure they're there. If it's missing anything, it's going to devalue. But when I looked them up, oh, I should mention, I paid $2 for this. When I looked them up, the really nice ones were like $69 and $78 and 80 something. So this could be a really good sell. Even if it's not all there, I imagine this is probably still going to be 40, 50, 60 bucks, somewhere around there maybe. But I'll have to double check. I'll be a little careful. But this thing is really heavy, so it'd be a little bit expensive to ship plus the size. But I thought this was pretty cool. Disney, it's like blocks. I think it's worth pretty good money. Okay, and then also at Goodwill this time, I found another shirt. I've been buying a lot of shirts, and I do have a lot that have not sold, but just ones I'll list, a month and a half ago, all of a sudden they start selling, so I keep buying them. And every time I buy shirts, I am looking at unusual fabrics, I'm looking at brands, I'm looking at details. Like this one has pearl snaps, which are kind of vintagey looking. And then I look every single one of them up on the eBay app to make sure that they are worth it. So at my Goodwill, all shirts are $3.50. So that's what I paid on this one. This is a Wrangler Retro. I don't think it's actually old, but it's pretty cool because it's paisley, kind of an unusual color. And like I said, these pearl snaps are actually kind of like a vintage look. So, and it has pretty cool detailing on the back. So I imagine this will probably go in the $25 range. It's only going to be $3 to ship, so that's pretty good money. All right, this one here, I took a wild guess just because of a couple of different factors. So this is a Polo Ralph Lauren sweater. It's really thin. It's navy blue and white. And just the unusualness of it, I thought was a good reason to sell, and because of the size. It's a 2XLT, so it's a 2X long and tall. So you can tell by the arms. I mean, these are really, really long arms on here. So this is going to be for a tall guy. So a guy that wants some nice clothes that's hard to find for at regular stores, they will pick something like this up. I don't remember the price on this. I know I paid $3.50, but I imagine it probably goes in that $25 to $35 range, somewhere around there. So that should be pretty good. Okay, this one was a little bit unusual as well. I'd never heard of this brand, but I looked them up. They were selling for really good money. Gant. Never heard of them. It's like a, what size is this? It's a large. It seems really big for a large, so maybe these are oversized. Kind of 90s looking to me. It's got that denim collar, kind of a black and gray sweater type thing. Anyway, I looked up some of the Gant sweaters, and they were going for like 60 bucks, 70 bucks. I don't know what this one will go for. I'm going to assume at least 30, but I'm going to shoot for like that 50 to 75 range and see if I can get it. That'd be pretty cool. And this again is, I mean, as boring as this is, the reason I thought this was interesting was because I looked up the brand, they did really well, and that collar. It's just that unusual kind of retro 90s look, I think usually does really well. Okay, this one right here, I've passed on a lot of these, even though it is a good brand. Tommy Bahama. These are usually really expensive shirts. I'm guessing probably $90, $100, something like that new, maybe more. They're always really big. This one's actually technically pretty small for a Tommy Bahama. This is just a large. Usually I find them they're like 2X, 3X. This is black silk. Just got nice kind of embroidered details on there. I imagine some guy in Miami is going to want to buy this or whatever. And anyway, paid $3.50. I imagine this probably goes in the 30 range, 40, maybe more. I'll shoot for more, but probably get somewhere in the 30s, so that should be pretty good. Okay, I thought this was really cool. I've passed on this brand a lot. This is Redhead brand company. The reason I bought this, as you can see, they're swinging in front. This was new with tags, all right, and it's a big size. So this is a 3XL, so a really big dude that's having a hard time finding clothes is going to want this. And I like old cars, and this has muscle cars on there. So this thing, I think, is going to be money in the bank. I think this is going to be a really good sell. I'm going to ask a lot of money on this. I'm going to try to get, I don't know, I have to look them up, but man, it'd be awesome to get like around 50 bucks for this, okay? Brand new with tags. Usually at Goodwill, when they're new with tags, they actually, oh, I hate when they do it. See if I can even find, see, they just had the little yellow tag on there, but a lot of times when they get a nice piece, they actually write on the tag with magic marker, you know, $8 or $12 or whatever it's going to be. They forgot to do it on this one, so I got it for the $3.50. Even the lady at the counter was like, wow, that's a good deal. That's brand new tags. They forgot to mark it up. So this, I think, is going to be money in the bank. That's a cool shirt. All right, and then the last find at Goodwill. Their jackets are $4.50, so that's what I paid on this one. All right, this is an old Diamond Collection starter jacket for the Atlanta Braves. Okay, I've done really well with like windbreakers, and I think this is going to do well. Only issue I noticed is the bottom buttons have a little bit of you know, scratching and some paint gone, but I think that's okay. I don't know how old these are, but I imagine probably 90s. It could have been early 2000s. I don't know, but it's old enough that I think this would be good money. I paid $4.50. I'll have to look them up, but I imagine at the low end it's going to be about 30, 35, and who knows, this could be way more than that. It could be 40, 50, 60, 70. I don't know. I'll just have to see. But I'm going to shoot for at least 35 bucks, and I think it'll go for a lot more than that. So that'd be really cool. So that was my finds and my sales for this week. I know this video probably turned out a lot longer than I meant to, but a lot happened this week. It's, you know, like a week and a half or 2 weeks after Christmas, and it really started booming up again. So hopefully you like this video. Again, it's a little bit long. I'm going to try to shorten these up and figure out the pattern of how I'm going to do these, but I thought it'd be pretty cool just to kind of show you what's going on with the Flip and Dork stuff.